You remember me when the west wind moves upon the fields of barley. You forget the sun in his jealous sky when we walk in fields of gold. So she took her love for to gaze a while upon the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as her hair came down among the fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Would you be my love among the fields of barley? We'll forget the sun in his jealous sky as we lie in fields of gold. See, the west wind moves like two lovers do on the fields of barley. Feel her body rise when you kiss her mouth among the fields of gold. I never made promises lightly, and there have been some that I've broken. But I swear in the days still live, we'll walk in fields of gold. We'll walk in fields of gold. Many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as the sun goes down amongst the fields of gold. Ave San Santo Konomi ni oshite Wazuka bakari no Uno warasu no Uranda jishite Hito wa Kanashii mono desu ne. Sora demo kako tachi wa yasashiku matsuge ni ikou. Jinseiって不思議なものですね。人生って不思議なものですね。風さんさんとこの身に荒れて 思通りにならない夢をなくしたりして人はかわいいかわいいものですねそれでも未来たちはほっと間違うして微笑む人生って嬉しいものですね人生って嬉しいものですねはいさんさんとこの身に吹いて心ひそかな嬉しい涙を流したりして人はかわいいかわいいものですね赤子たちは優しくまつげに行こう人生って不思議なものですね人生って不思議なものですね未来たちは人間違うして微笑む人生って嬉しいものですね人生って嬉しいものですね人生って嬉しいものですね
Want to do one more?
One more?
Okay. Yeah, people are still.
No, I'll do one of the back ones.
One more. Yeah. Couple more minutes. Sure.
A gentle rain is falling on the coast of now, like a million silver teardrops in the sky. And down the road from Napopo, the ancient kings still dwell. I can see them riding high on an ocean swell. Rise up and follow me, sons of Hawaii. Rise up and follow me, don't let me down. The taro fields are gone now from the southern Kona hills, and the eyes of all the old ones hold a tear. In the shadows of the memories they recall a brighter day, but the sovereign lands they loved have slipped away. Rise up and follow me, sons of Hawaii. Rise up and follow
Yes, great, very nice.
me. Don't let me down.
I recognize you. Yeah.
Kingdoms
I'm
come and
facilitating.
kingdoms go,
Yeah, lovely
and
dress.
we must
I like the
find
hair
a way to hold on to what's left of Hawaii. I hear them in the mountains, I can see them in the sky. People, can you hear the ali'i cry? Rise up and follow me, sons of Hawaii. Rise up and follow me, don't let me down. Rise up and follow me, sons of Hawaii. Rise up and follow me, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
Mahalo. Well, como mai. Welcome, everyone. Kind of reminds me of like Christmas with all the elves out doing stuff, or it's like the fun of spring. All the bees are busy making honey. So welcome, welcome. Yeah, come sit, join us. Yeah, so good to see everybody this morning. Another beautiful day in Hawaii. Yes, thank you so much for those beautiful Hawaiian songs. More to come, I'm sure. Yeah. So welcome everyone to New Thought service this morning. Yeah, fun. Everybody has name tags. Getting name tags. You kind of learn the names a little bit better. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Pasha. I tried to signal Stephen on that one. So, as we like to do, we're going to start with a reading. Um, so you can come on up, yeah, to this microphone here and do a little reading for us. This helps to set the stage, kind of thing, for our ceremony this morning. Yeah.
Good morning again, and I'm reading from Guide for Spiritual Living, Science of the Mind, May 2025. And the reading today is entitled.
A little closer. Yeah, yeah. No, it's
Okay.
good. It's live.
Okay,
Too.
here we go.
Yep.
The reading is entitled Engage in Restorative Renewal. And we start with a couple of quotes. The first one from Gertrude Stein. She says, "Every day is renewal, every morning the daily miracle. This joy you feel is life." And from Ernest Holmes, he said, "You are more than you appear to be. Life is greater than you have ever known it. The best is yet to come." Taking time for ourselves may feel selfish. If we're parents, caretakers, or professionals in demanding occupations, our own self care may not be our highest priority. Yet without it, we're not at our best for ourselves or anyone else. Nature is a wonderful teacher for renewal, especially at this time of year. We see fresh life bursting forth across the landscape in a vibrant array of greens, pinks, lavenders, and yellows. However, these plants, like all new growth, require nourishment, sunshine, water, healthy soil, and nutrients. We need nourishment for our personal growth, our personal wellness and growth as well. We need time to explore, time to play, time to relax, time to grow, time to heal. When was the last time you went on a retreat or took a solo trip? When was the last time you set aside time for personal care? What does renewal look like for you? What brings you joy? Being alive to this life is a daily miracle. But at times we need to recharge our batteries, especially if we've been under a great deal of external stress. We also need experiences that restore our spirits. Our personal renewal might not be a big trip or a lengthy retreat. It might involve simple things like getting together with a friend for a cup of coffee or visiting with grandchildren. For some of us, we might need something more, like a long-awaited vacation or a group retreat. Whatever your current situation, find a few things that fill your heart with happiness. Know that, as Stein put it, this joy you feel is life. Okay, and so our affirmation is pretty short. I'm going to read the whole thing, and then let's just do the whole thing together. I give myself permission to rest. I fill my life with joy. Okay? I give
myself permission to rest.
I
I fill my life with joy.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. So again, welcome everyone. Ekumamai, welcome to Sunday service at New Thoughts. Looks like mostly all familiar faces. I think everybody's been here before. So we don't have to go into big detail, but just a reminder, we are a group that we like to say, just kind of bring your own beliefs and come and gather and we'll share together. And we believe that your thoughts matter. Yeah. So we encourage you to have a new thought every day, right? Just like that renewal. Yeah. So we'll go right into another song then. Yeah. Yeah, you can do another song, kind of set us up for a couple things. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad. We'll do a meditation first. That'll set the stage for the song. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. I'm moving the miracles to like next, and then we'll do the passing, the sharing, and so forth. But after that meditation, let's take a moment of peace to kind of drop into our joy. In the tradition I was trained, we kind of encourage, if you like, the feet flat on the ground, that'll help to ground you. I shared that last time I spoke. But however you feel comfortable, just close your eyes and notice that you're breathing. So always the world is going on around us, and always the breath is moving through us. And so we take a moment now to come back to yourself. Come back to your breath. Feel this gentle wave of the universe moving through you. Literally soaking up the sun, the stars, the trees, the oceans. We remember that we are connected to all things. We come back to self, and self reminds us that we are all one. Nice. It's always nice to drop into meditation with people who meditate. So it's a joy to be in your presence. Now we'll do another song.
Keni ke kiri nae ikana hele kili poa he kalehua ikano kapa mai kamoa e kua iwi Filipa kapalai make kualono o ke kania o ka manu I ka wakele e kukalana ana me kona leone ua vila leua me kapalai. Ile ho'oka inani lua ole. Okay, o ka nehe a ke kai makaili ili. Me e kani o koleo na e na e. O ka me ana o ke one hualalai. Ko uli ke me ko paolu olu. O ke kania o ka manu I ka wakele. E kukala na me kona leo ole. Ua I pupu ia ke aloha. Ile ho'oka inani lua ole. Ile ho'oka inani lua o. Nani lua
Yeah. Wow, nice. So I'm going to change things up a little bit this morning and invite miracles. So for those of you who have a miracle that you're burning to share, and I will start by saying the dolphins showed up at my house this morning, right when I was getting ready to leave. So it is to you that I came rather than being in the ocean with the dolphins right now, which is where I kind of would rather be. Although it's always, as I say, wonderful to be in your presence, but always a little miracle when the dolphins show up. And my brother was like, he just kind of tuned the energy at our house, and then they showed up, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, the dolphins like when we do that, you know. So anyway, other miracles, just a few today. So we're just going to take a couple. If anybody has a burning miracle they need to share, want to share, yeah, yeah, come on down.
Hold on.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm Leah.
Jamie.
This is my mermaid sister,
Ah.
Jamie. And we truly love miracles, of course, like all of us, but we're truly mermaids. And I've been on the island almost 2 years, and I've probably swum with them at kind of 20 sometimes. I don't know for you.
Yeah. Less than maybe
Anyway.
4.
And it depends on the pod. They're all different, just like people, right?
Yeah.
They have different energies and different thought processes. And this particular pod was a miracle because the one particular dolphin, I think it was female, she kept coming around me, and I'm not exaggerating, this close. And she telepathically said, I'll take you for a ride, grab my fin. My jaw dropped. I know I'm not supposed to touch you. I was so close, I didn't. I was a good girl, but I wanted so badly. And I've never had that happen. I tell them telepathically when I'm in the water with them, I love you. You're beautiful. Give me strength. Give me courage. I send you my love, whatever, And I know Jimmy does the same. And then later, the next day, I was with another friend, Bayana. A lot of you know Heather, Bayana. And I was doing her a favor, and we had time to visit and talk. I shared my moment with her, and she said, I can't believe it. I've been here for 7 years or something. The same thing happened to me. And she'd never had that happen before. And she's been with the dolphins way more than me. But we both had an aha miracle moment of, grab my fin, I'll take you. So
yeah, I was with someone else actually, and we saw Leah's van, and we waited like 20 minutes. Okay, she's not here. It was a miracle. This is a very big Moana ocean. we actually found Leah in the ocean. And prior to that, some of you might know, there's an akua. It's a shark rock that probably goes, I've been told, about 8-9 feet underneath the sand. And every time I ask permission, and I also thank the akua for looking over the land, looking over the ocean and all the critters. And so I was told, no more flowers, Jamie, just prayers. And I said, okay, there's a reason it landlocks them. And I said, all right. So I just had this really profound moment sitting with the shark god. And then when we were with the dolphins, I had like 45 minutes, I'm finally shivering. And I'm like, okay, I got to go. And the dolphins were like, wait. And they made this completely different sound because I started to turn my back. And I looked down and something looks way different than the dolphins. There's too many fins. It's a shark. So there was a shark down at the bottom. That was a black tip. And then I pointed to my friend, hey, get video, look. And then I looked to the other side, there's another shark. And so that was a gray reef shark.
And they were big.
And a giant eagle ray.
Oh,
And a trevally on the way. I mean, it was just a really epic magic day.
Magic day.
Yeah.
And what I know Jamie was alluding to also is the dolphins changed their energy
Yes.
when the sharks came in, and they were cruising along the sand. We were about in 30 feet of, well, they were in about 30 feet of water. We're at the surface, but the dolphins turned around and came, and they started clicking and sending. The energy was just different. It was like they were telling us, be careful, watch, see who's there. We're protecting you. And they came around us and protected us from the sharks. It was amazing.
And then swimming in, I had to go. I was shivering. I had to go, and they followed like escorts, almost all the way back to shore. Not quite, but it's pretty special.
yeah.
All right, time for somebody else.
I knew there was a dolphin story in the air because the dolphins came and it was like, hey, we're visiting, you know? And yeah, the times are changing. I think the dolphins really miss us, and so they will come in. I've let them come really close, like, oh, and then they'll bump into me sometimes. They're like, come on, you know. So anyway, any other miracles that need to be shared? We have one question that we're gonna ask. Maybe we'll ask the question first, or do you want me to introduce you first?
No, I can ask the question.
Okay, yeah.
So as an answer to the question, only 1 or 2 words. So when I ask it, maybe feel in yourself. The question is, where do you feel your breath of life? 1 or 2 words.
So in my body.
That's up to you. 1 or 2 words.
I'm Terry. I don't have anything profound to say other than my chest.
I'm Charlie. My nose does it.
I think for me, it's at my core here.
Say your name, please.
Oh, I'm Teresa.
My name's Pasha. And so right when Keola asked the question, I had this feeling like kind of between my eyebrows, like right above my nose, which doesn't make sense, but I'm saying it anyway.
Hi, I'm Jan. My first thought was totally different, but I'll go with the body in my belly.
Good morning. My name's Reagan. I'll say inside and outside.
My name is Lexi, and every cell of my body.
Margie, and my chest.
Shelba, third eye.
Kathy, third eye.
Rosalia, whenever I get chicken skin.
Patty, my heart.
Lynn, my throat.
Yeah.
Jamie, front side and back side of my heart.
Stephen, kind of in my diaphragm.
I'm Leah with love.
Hi, I'm Miko. I find my breath in nature.
Good morning. I'm Nance. Heart.
Girling in the trees.
Candy, my heart.
Karen, my energy body.
Barca, rock climbing on Enchanted Rock.
My lungs.
Okay. Pomekai, my heart.
Faith. Cat.
Dan, abdomen.
I can say. Keola in my midline and the rest of my body.
And you can hold on to the microphone because I'm going to introduce you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although maybe we'll have Dan do one more song. How do you feel? We got about 5 minutes. Yeah. So Dan, one more song as an intro.
Okay. Song by Donovan.
In the chilly hours and minutes of uncertainty, I want to be in the warm hold of your loving mind, to feel you all around me and to take your hand along the sand. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When sundown pales the sky, I want to hide a while behind your smile. And everywhere I look, your eyes I'd find. For me to love you now would be the sweetest thing, would make me sing. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When rain has hung the leaves of tears, I want you near to heal my fears, to help me to leave all my blues behind. For standing in your heart is where I want to be, and I long to be. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind.
Nice. So now I have the honor to introduce my dear friend, Keola Genevieve Brunet. Yeah. Moved to Hawaii 10 years ago. She's a licensed massage therapist and also teaching and passing on the art of craniosacral therapy. She has been practicing craniosacral therapy for over 22 years and believes highly in the self-healing capacity of the body. She has been passionately practicing and teaching also the Gurdjieff movements for over 10 years, and she is a mindfulness trainer. Keola has recorded a CD with craniosacral mindfulness meditations and has an ongoing Gurdjieff movements group for at her healing temple in Ocean View, Ka'u area, where she lives with her husband Dan, the awesome musician, blessing us today, and their 2 cats. She and Dan also both dance hula. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. My favorite.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Jamie, for the beautiful lei. Beautiful, sweet smelling lei, my favorite flower. And thank you for having me back here. And I think it's now the 8th time that I'm here. And actually in preparation for that, Pasha asked me to talk about the Gurdjieff movements. And I felt, yes, I can do that because I hadn't talked about the Gurdjieff movements for a while. And last few years, I've talked about craniosacral topics. But then I thought, I would love to make a bridge. I also want to talk about the craniosacral topics. And so today is also a little try out to make the bridge, because in my opinion and in my feeling, they operate from the same mechanisms. And I will take you in an inward journey today. Started with the question where you ask, like, should it be about the body? Yes, the whole craniosacral system is the embodied breath of life, and it is all around us. So every answer resonated for me with what the breath of life is about. And I will talk about how we find it in our body, because like as in the reading, it was a perfect setup actually for the topic of today, because our craniosacral system, which has rhythms which are the embodied breath of life, they are sparked by the breath of life. There is a natural recovery system, a natural regenerating system, a natural healing system. So yes, we can take time for ourselves. Yes, it's good to incorporate joy in our life and go in the ocean. And also there's a system in our body which does it by itself without us having to do anything for it. And that happens every night when we sleep, but that happens also during the day, in moments, in unexpected moments. Yeah, so the craniosacral, and I will of course share a little bit about the background of the craniosacral system to get a more embodied feeling. So the craniosacral system was discovered in the 1900s, where there was an osteopath, a student. He looked at the sphenoid, which is a bone which sits in the middle of your brain. And it's actually beautiful that in the answers I heard a few times my third eye. And the third eye, from the third eye, if we go inward, we land in the midst of our brain. And in the midst of our brain, there are ventricles. The sphenoid sits in the midst of our brain. It has the pituitary gland. In the back of that, the hypothalamus and the pineal gland. And they all connect us with spirit. They connect us with the whole craniosacral system. They connect us with the recovery system. So he looked at the sphenoid, and at that time, the idea was that bones, we all have different head bones. I just was 2 days teaching a 2-day course about the cranial bones, and all the bones move. But at that time, people thought the bones were fixed. They were not moving. They sit on our head and they are fixed. But Sutherland saw this sphenoid. It's a master bone. It has like a butterfly shape. And he thought it looks like the gills of a fish, which has the quality of breathing. The gills, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, but he got the idea of breathing bones. And then what he did, he fixated part of his skull to see what the effect would be, and it had a huge physiological and psychological impact. So if one of our bones, so they can get compressed, they move in a natural rhythm and they can get compressed. So talking about the breath, in the meditation, everyone knows the breath of the lungs. Everyone knows the respiration of the heart. But our nervous system breathes, moves. I recently saw a video on a website of the pulsating dura mater, which is the inner core, sits inside our spinal column. And I saw the pulsation, literally. and there was only fluid light. Our craniosacral fluid is inside our, that's why I said midline, like it's inside our core, and the fluid is being pumped around. And that fluid, craniosacral fluid, which goes from the sacrum, it's down at the bottom of our spine, the tailbone, sacrum, and then we have the whole spinal column. And then we have our atlas, where I talked about last year. It's the highest bone in our spinal column. But then we have our skull, and the dura mater, which is a membrane, goes all the way into our skull, into our brain. And there's no blood in our brain. There's a blood-brain barrier, but the blood is being filtered through the cells, through the ventricles, and it becomes fluid, transparent light. So when you see that pulsating, the moving of the fluid gives a pulsation in our spinal column, and that ripples out to whole our body. And that's really amazing. When I was watching at that video, it looked like spirit itself. And actually, I now suddenly remember by saying I was watching at spirit itself. I actually wanted to start with a poem, which is called The Still Point, because the breath of life and the slowest rhythm of our craniosacral system is the closest to the breath of life. And it's the biggest stillness which we can find in ourselves. And that poem, what I'm going to read, that was also the first poem my Gurdjieff teacher gave me. I started in 2009 in India, and the Gurdjieff movements literally rebalance, make new connections in our brain, in our corpus callosum, which connects left and right brain, but right below that sits our pineal gland. And it ripples in a big silence inside our body. So I will start with reading that poem. It's about the dance that never ceases, and yet the big stillness inside. It's called The Still Point, and it's from T.S. Eliot. At the still point of the turning world, neither flesh nor fleshless, neither from nor towards. At the still point, there is the dance. But neither arrest nor movement, and do not call it fixity, where past and future are gathered. Neither movement from nor towards, neither ascent nor decline, except for the point, the still point. There would be no dance, and there is only the dance. And it gives me chicken skin when I say that, because for me, the craniosacral system is the place of the huge stillness, and it's the place where the dance never ceases. And we all have that in our body. So what I want to start, just to give you a little embodied feeling, to give you a little, like with craniosacral, it helps if you can use your imagination about what is there. I will draw the craniosacral system in a very schematic way, just to have a little idea about what is there in our body. Oh yeah. Like this? Yes. So I will draw first our center bag of fluids, which we have in our center, which is that's called the dura mater, and that sits inside our spinal column. It sits inside our skull, and it's the bag where there's only this transparent fluid light. Where there's no blood, the blood is being filtered. And this is actually discovered also by Abletcher. He was an osteopath. He was assisting at the surgery. And when he had to hold the dura mater still for the surgery. And he noticed, I cannot hold this membrane still. It's a membrane, it's fascia. It's a tough fascia. And then from there, it took off and he brought craniosacral therapy to the world. Sutherland had done the beginning at the beginning of the 19th century. And here there's a constant pumping around of fluid. So the whole craniosacral fluid sits there. And then around that, to picture that in yourself, we have the skull. That's our head bones, which is not only one skull, it has many different bones. And if you want to know which bones, then come to me. I'll teach you. And this is foramen magnum. That's a big hole at the base of our skull. I've talked about that before. Like if you feel underneath your skull, there's like a soft spot. And that's the entry into your brain from the spinal cord. And that's also where the brainstem is. So all the functions in whole our body are being directed by the brainstem and by the upper parts of the brain. So we don't have to do anything to breathe. We don't have to do anything to make our heart pump. We don't have to do anything to digest. Our functions take care of it, and our brain is the big control center. Then that's the brain and the skull part, and then below that sits our spinal column. And the vertebrae are meant to protect this whole precious bag of fluid because all the nerves sit inside it. So what they say, like our nerves and our brain bathes in its own private ocean. It has its own ocean. It's an ocean of fluid light. And our nerves are happily bathing in that and being sprinkled by that fluid. Our brain is very happy when the fluid is being pumped around and it nourishes. And then also all the waste products of that fluid are being pushed out through the walls of the ventricles and come in the bloodstream and leave our body. But there is fresh fluid being produced again and again and again in the third ventricle in the brain. And that sits right in the middle of the brain. So also the pineal gland. So through our third eye, we actually can access that if we go deep inside with our imagination. Then here sit all the vertebrae around this bag of fluid. With on the lower end, there's a beautiful triangle-shaped bone, which is the sacrum, which I talked about 2 years ago. And that is really the base of our spine. It is the tailbone. So imagine that from the tailbone all the way up your spinal column, into your head, until here sits this bag of fluid, what breathes. It moves in a never-ceasing dance. And sometimes, and I will share a little bit about the rhythms that it produces and what it does to our body. And after, I will also guide you in a meditation to really feel that more from inside. But sometimes the rhythm stops. And that is also called a still point. Like the breath of life is the stillest movement in our body. But the still point, this rhythm stops. And this rhythm stops, for example, at night many times. In the day, we use 80% of our energy by our thinking brain. Our thinking brain, which sits behind our frontal, that's one of the head bones. It produces thousands of thoughts the whole day long. Maybe your brain is now producing many thoughts while I'm sharing this. But the brain, that's very normal. Like with mindfulness, I never say, try to not think. No, when you think, just notice it and then let it drift over, because many of the thoughts we don't need to take seriously. The brain just produces. But at night, it stops. It stops many times. And that's why when we wake up, there's like a gap in our memory. And then this 80% of that energy which is used for the thinking brain can be used by the immune system, by recovery, by regenerating, by regrowing organs if needed. We used to be a tiny little human being in when we got conceived and in the belly of our mother, and we just grew into a real human being with all our legs and all our systems. We didn't do anything for it, it just grew. So the interesting thing about that, and that's going back to when we were this tiny little embryo, is that in our body, this neural tube, like that's our nervous system, it's a neural tube. In the beginning, we were only a pancake of cells. We were one cell and the cell grew to a bunch of cells. And then it becomes like a flat pancake of cells. And that pancake has many layers which grow into the organs and skeleton, nervous system. But that pancake of cells will fold. And the first fold it makes, that is our midline. And that becomes our neural tube. So the first system that grows is the neural tube. And that fold, that midline, is still in imprint present in our body. It's still there energetically. And they say all the other folds that pancake of cells made become like that's our meridians. That's the remnants of the folds in our body. But that midline, and there's a beautiful word what that's called in the craniosacral system. It's called the notochord, and that's the midline which is still in us present. So if we get lost, if we get taken by thoughts, if we feel uncentered, then just imagine that energetically present, but before it was a physically present fold of our most first cells. And the most first cells, they also got to choose what they want to become. Like the stem cells, they got to choose, do I want to become a liver or a stomach, or do I want to become the brain? The outer layers of that pancake become one thing, the inner layers become other thing. So every layer became something else. And the wisdom of those cells, of the stem cells, is still also in our body. So our body remembers. Our body remembers everything. It remembers our function. Like even if we get lost, even if the heart, for example, doesn't know anymore what it wants to do because there is protection, because there is wounds, because it got hurt. The function of the heart is to share love and to receive love. And the pericardium, which is a membrane around the heart, is the protector of the heart. It's a membrane. So when that becomes really tight, then the heart loses a moment its function, but it doesn't lose it. It always remembers. So for us, is when we go inside and when we go to our body, when we connect with our body, when we go to our membrane, because this is the mother base, the dura mater. I can write it down because it literally means tough membrane, mother membrane. This membrane is the mother base, and all our other membranes, like even our fingers, are covered in fascia. All the fascia go back to the dura mater, literally. They all end up in the dura mater. Even blood, they say it's fluid connective tissue. The bones are hardened connective tissue. Our bones are aligned with connective tissue. It's like a spider web. All the connective tissue goes back here. And I was saying that because I was saying that, because of the remembrance of the body. My body reminded me what my threat was. Like the wisdom of the body, we don't need to remember with our head. Our body will prompt us. So that's really interesting. And it only asks us to tune in and to go back. And our body knows how to heal us. So if we ask our body, if we tune in, then our body will give us the tips and the wisdom. And the cells know how to regenerate. We just have to trust and to listen. Yes. So going from that, and that is in the notochord in our craniosacral system and in the breath of life, which sparks the movement, like everything moves. So I wanted to share something about the rhythms. I like to make bridges, same as I like to make bridges to the Gurdjieff movement. I like this spider web, what I'm talking about. I like to do that in my activities, in what I do. And when I was preparing this presentation, it was not about like, what do I talk about, but how do I weave everything together in one web? Because the breadth of life is so extensive. The rhythms are so extensive. If you connect with the slowest rhythm in yourself, you land in the universe. It's life itself. You become the ocean. The rhythms are like a tide. Everybody was talking about the ocean today in a meditation. It's like a wave, it's a tide. And we become the ocean when we tune into the slowest rhythm. So how do you compress that in a 30 minutes presentation? That was my worry. And in the end, I managed to get somehow a spider web to weave it all together. Yeah, so talking about the rhythms and maybe letting this sink in a moment. Because if we talk, we get taken by our mind and we lose the thread. So the rhythms, and when we're talking about the slowest rhythm, the pulsation of our craniosacral system, it's rhythms where our body, and maybe you can feel that a moment inside yourself, like our body folds open. There's like an unfolding of all the tissues. That's the inhalation of the nervous system. Everything opens up. That's when the fluid is being pumped upwards. That's an inhalation. Our bones open up. Our sacrum sinks down. Our occiput, which is the backbone, moves up. And our system fills itself with more and more fluid. The pressure rises. But then, otherwise we would explode, the pressure will recede eventually. And that will do it by there's a turning point. And at the turning point, the fluid will recede. And what happens then? Our body will fold inwards. The fluid will recede, the sacrum will go a little bit out, the occiput will come down again, and the waste products, what happens after our whole brain is nourished, our whole nerves are nourished, are being pushed outwards from the ventricles into the bloodstream. So then the pressure goes down, everything narrows, and comes back to this notochord, to the midline. But what happens then? It folds open again, same as the regular breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. So that happens, but like with our breath and our heart rate, that's about 60 times per minute. The fastest rhythm of our nervous system is 6 till 12 times per minute. That's the fastest rhythm. The slowest rhythm is 1 time every 1.5 minutes. So imagine 1.5 minutes, it goes and it goes. And it takes 1.5 minutes to come back to the midline. So that's really slow. And you can compare that by, you become the ocean. You will feel it as a long, it's called a long tide, long wave rippling out in your body. And we can connect with that on physical level. I connect with that in cranial sessions. And that's where things start buzzing, where you lose a sense of space and time. So you can have that in a meditation. Then you land in this long tide rhythm. The fast tide is maybe how we move in life. When we move in life and move, then we are moving in the fast tide, which is still not very fast. The nervous system breathes slowly. So we have to honor our nervous system because it is slow. It cannot like move in the same pace as that we wanted to move sometimes. And then we have a movement in between, which is called the mid-tide, which is like the potency, the biopotency, which feeds the fast tide. So that's all the healing capacity. That's like as if we sink in the ocean, we are in the ocean. And the fast tide is we are floating on the ocean. So that's 3 different rhythms, but then at the core of all that, there's the still point, where there's just life and just dance. Yeah. And I think that is That is it with the talking, because that's the whole essence and that's the whole core where I want to take you in a meditation. And that's the whole background, what I want to give for the craniosacral system for now. And I don't know if you feel it in your body when we're talking about it. And hopefully you feel it even deeper when we are going into the meditation. But this is all anatomically, physically present in your body. Do you have a question? Or no? Okay. Yeah, and why I want to take you also in one of the Gurdjieff movements, so that's the bridge to the Gurdjieff movement, like how do we do this in daily life, when we move, when we are doing our things, we are not remembering our craniosacral system every minute of the day. I'm not remembering it every minute of the day, but if I'm in this flow, I remember it many times during the day. And the Gurdjieff movements are the bridge. Like Gurdjieff designed the movements, he used them in, like, for example, war zones where everybody sit down and do a prayer. Like, how can you, with the turning world, like what is said in the poem, with the storm around you, how can you still be in that still point? There's the eye of the storm where there's nothing but stillness. So no matter what happens in life, there's always the stillness. There's always the pulsation of your cranial system, which can remind you physically about the stillness. There's always the possibility to move in a more conscious way, to move in a way where you sense yourself. Like Gurdjieff talks a lot about divided attention, which is about sensing yourself while you're doing something. So when I'm talking to you, we're talking about the craniosacral system. I feel it very present in my body. But when we're talking from the mind, more in theory, we forget. We forget our hands, we forget our feet. So how can we move in life with, in the same time, sensing ourselves? Because that's when we bring ourselves into life. That's the fun. If we only are taken by the outside, then we forget that we are here. So how can we remember this midline while being in life, which with all its challenges? And that's what, for me, the Gurdjieff movements are about. They are designed to literally make new connections in your corpus callosum. Well, below that sits the pineal gland. So eventually everybody feels harmony and peace. In the beginning, you might feel chaos. But it really brings you to the sensing of yourself while being in life, because you cannot not be present, otherwise you lose the movement. So that I find the fascination of the movements. So for today, I would like to bring you first into, yes, 1 second, and then I go to question. First, I would like to bring you 1 moment into the craniosacral system in a meditation, and then we will open up our eyes. And then we will go in the Om circles, which is one of the Gurdjieff movements. And you can just follow, and I will explain it before we go into it. And just as a little teaser for how you can at the same time stay in the midline while having some outward, maybe confusion, chaos, little storm, and yet being in that balanced center still point. Yes. Craniosacral therapy is everything that works with this system, so it helps to rebalance the rhythms. It's a good question, because I forgot to say, when there's a blockage somewhere in the body, then the rhythm gets deregulated. The bones can get compressed. Your atlas can get stuck. Your sacrum can get stuck. Your organs, like the fascia, the membrane, is attached to the dura mater, so any deregulation will be felt in the organs, but will be also felt in the rhythms. So within Cranio, I work with the rhythms, I work with helping the bones, inviting to more freedom, helping decompress whatever is compressed. So releasing blockages, either physical or emotional. And it will give an enormous freedom. And it's very subtle. So it's nothing like deep massage, but it goes very deep, and people report a very deep, 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 deep relaxation. Yeah. Other questions before we go? Maybe the questions, we do it now before we go into the meditation and the movements, other things that come up? Well, the imagination, that was a prompt to, if you see more what is inside with your imagination. So if you really can imagine your craniosacral system and all the fluid and where the pineal gland is, then you are already talking to it. And then it starts being activated more. So it asks you to go inside and also to, like, if you know my experiences, if you know anatomically where something is, then you talk more directly to that body part. So same with the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is activated in the night. It's activated during meditation. It produces melatonin by darkness, so it's activated in darkness. I once wrote a poem about the mystery of the dark. And the dark is where spirit can enter because the pineal gland reacts on darkness. Yeah. Does that answer? Yeah. Okay.
I've been watching a lot of programs, and a lot of them on near-death experiences, and there's been thousands around the world, many, many times where people have had near-death experiences where the body, this might be a spiritual question or a physical and chemical and scientific question, the kind of sandwich. But there have been many thousands of people that have had these experiences and have been clinically dead for over a half an hour. But somehow they come back into the body. What happened? And they don't have any brain damage, and they're fine. Maybe something else is broken. That's fixed, right? But what happens to all that?
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, I wanted actually to say something about it, so thank you for the prompt. The what they say, like this is in the craniosacral, we call it the primary respiratory system, besides the lungs and the heart, and it continues a few hours after death. It continues beyond that we are dead. Yeah, that's amazing. So the dura mater keeps pulsating with all this fluid light without us being alive. Yeah. Yeah, we are walking mysteries, walking miracles. Yeah. Other questions before we go in the meditation? Okay. Then I will guide you in the meditation, and I can. And again, it's an experiment how the combination works, like going from the meditation in one of the movements. I have not made that bridge here before. So we will see how it works out. And I'm curious to your experience afterwards. So I will explain the Om circles. And the Om circles really ask us to stay in our center. So don't try to grasp it with your mind, but in that notogord, try to stay in the center. And then try to observe what the arms are doing, because what the arms are doing, we will first have both our arms on our legs, and then our right arm will move in 16 counts clockwise. So it goes in a circle. It's called Om circles. So clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at 8 we are up. Then it's 16 counts. Here we are halfway. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And that's clockwise, so that's to the right. I'm thinking, yeah. So if you're doing something completely different than your neighbor, then one of you both is off. So one more time, 16 counts clockwise to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Perfect. But then the left arm is moving in 8 counts counterclockwise. So with left arm, other way round, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's double speed. There's nothing difficult about that, but then when we combine both arms, that's the fun. And that's when it will ask us to stay in our center. I see someone doing that already. So I will do it one time, and now I need to put my mic down. And it's the same thing. 8 counts counterclockwise in the left arm, 16 counts in the right arm. And try to stay in your center no matter if you get confused or make mistakes. It's not about that. Having both arms here, and the left goes on top of the right, otherwise they get entangled because the left goes faster. And 1, 2, 3, 4. At 4, the left is up, the right is on 9 o'clock because the left is halfway. And then 5, 6, 7, and 8, the left is already back home, the right is up, is halfway. And then one more time. 9, 10, 11, 12, the left is up, and 13, 14, 15, 16. And I will say every time, okay, now we start again. So every round you have the possibilities to start again, just like in the reading. Every day is a new fresh start. And here every circle is a new fresh start. So if you're off, put your hands down and just start again. And this is the beauty of the circles. And we will start first right arm, first left arm. But we will start with a meditation. And then we are centered in ourselves, and from there we go in the outer movement. Okay. Within 10 more minutes. Yes. Okay, so for now, close a moment your eyes and feel how you're sitting on the chair. So feel your sit bones and your sacrum resting on the chair, your spine resting against the chair and your feet on the ground. And then we connect a moment with our breath as it goes. So the regular breath of the lungs, just the in and the out breath. We feel a moment how we breathe in, and maybe we feel cold air coming into our system. And then breathing out, we feel warm air coming out of our system. So this is our regular breath of our lungs, where we breathe in, our body fills itself with air, and breathe out. And then we expel the waste products, the carbon dioxide. And then from there we go a layer inward, which is to our dura mater, our nervous system inside, which also breathes. So we connect with our inner core, our spinal cord, deep, deep, deep inside, surrounded by a bag of fascia, of tough mother membrane, which goes all the way from our sacrum. So that's where we sit, where we sit with on the chair, all the way up inside our spinal column, and then into our brain, which becomes the meninges, which is our brain membrane. And inside that bag of fascia, there's fluid, craniosacral fluid, which is transparent light, which is being pumped around. And that gives a breath of our nervous system, that gives a rhythm in our body. So feel a moment if you can feel that bag of fascia, the fluid in the midline of your body. And then with every inhalation, our body folds open. So all the limbs fold out. The sacrum goes a little bit down, the occiput comes a little bit up. The back is being filled with more fluid and the pressure rises. That's the inhalation of the nervous system. And then there's an exhalation where the waste products is being pumped out into the bloodstream. Our limbs fold inward again. Our bones come the other direction, fold inward. And the fluid recedes downward. And that's like a very slow wave in our body. We can feel it in all our membrane until our fingertips, until our feet. The wave, it's like a tide where it rises, filled with fluid. Everything folds open. And then it recedes like a tide, like a wave that recedes, and everything comes inward again towards this beautiful midline, what we have in our body. The center fold, which was the first fold out of that pancake of cells when we were just a tiny little embryo. We were just a clump of cells. And that midline is still there in the center of our body, inside our craniosacral system. It is our neural tube, our nervous system, our spinal cord. And this fluid, this rhythm inside our body is a sign of health. It is from the moment we are born, it is before we are born, it is when we are formed, when the neural tube is formed, and it goes on till after we die. And it is a respiratory system besides our lungs and our heart. And even in our cells, we can feel this. Our cells wave with the fluid, they move. We feel it in our brain, where all the glands, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, they are bathing in this craniosacral fluid, like in a private ocean. Our whole brain is being nourished by it. So maybe we can feel that inside our brain, like a wave. And that happens the whole day long. And that regenerates and recovers our body, our cells, our organs, without us having anything to do for it. Just continues. So maybe we can take a moment and thank inwardly our craniosacral system, our beautiful craniosacral system who keeps doing all this work, our breath of life, the still point at the source of this all. We can thank our spark of life for giving us life, for keeping us healthy, for moving all our tissues like seaweed in the ocean, for bathing our brain and protecting it from shocks, for bathing our nervous system and keeping us still and in peace and in harmony. Maybe we can thank that a moment with our awareness being in that center system, in our midline. And with this center system, we can also enter the world. We can enter the room here. We can sit where we are. And we can be with this center system with our midline when we open up our eyes. So stay a moment in this center, and you can take your time. Maybe count back from 10 to 1, and maybe music will start playing. Because from this centerpiece, we will go into a movement which grounds us more in being inside in this centerpiece, while being in an outer movement, while being in the outer world, while maybe being in the challenges of life. And there's always this still point, and there's always this dance of our beautiful nervous system, craniosacral system, brain, and everything that encompasses it. So there are 16 counts introduction, and you can slowly open your eyes while staying in the midline. And we start with the right arm, making circles. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just one arm yet. 12, 13, 14. Only the right arm to start easy and gentle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we lay down our right arm and go to our left arm counter clockwise in 8, 3, 4, double speed 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. And the right clockwise, only the right. And then we will add the left. 7, 8, we are now on the top, 9, 10. And with this whole movement counts, if you really get lost, you can always leave one arm and just do one arm. One more round with only the right, and then we add the other arm. 5, 7, 8. And we will add the left arm on top of the right. Staying in the center, not being into movements with your arm, just no doing it wrong. And we start again. 1,
Wow, it's really wonderful. My brain is buzzing, and I feel like a warm tingle at the very like that part of the hole. It's really hot, and my brain is buzzing. I don't know if anybody else is having any sensations. By the look on your face, that's what's kind of like supposed to happen, or like that's a thing that can happen. Really awesome, awesome. So thank you for sharing. Yeah. Dan, we'll do another song. We'll pass the bowl. Our opportunity to sort of give back to the community. Just your presence is first and foremost. Before we do, I think we have some new people. Um, so introduction of new people. What's your name? Where are you from? Oh, nice. Welcome. Nice. Beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Well, welcome. Welcome to our community. Yeah. Lovely to have you. I'm Light Hawk, so I get it. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Oi yo, e makualani. Oi yo, avaiola. Oi yo, e kumu ola. Ka mea hana ina mea apau e ku haku. Ka mauna kie o o. O e makualani. O kavaiola. O e kumuola. Ka mea ana ina mea apau. E kuaku. Ka mauna kie. O e io. Join on the o e io. O e io. E makualani. O e io. Kavaiola. O e io. E kumuola. Ka mea hana ina mea apau. E kuhaku. Ka mauna kie. O io. O io e makualani. O io kavaiola. O io e kumuola. Ka mea hana ina mea apau. E kuaku. Ka mauna kie. O io. E kuaku. Ka mauna kie. O io.
well, that's a nice warm up for next Sunday. We're gonna have Kumu Keola Ching next Sunday. Yeah. So nice warm up, Dan.
Thanks.
Um, He's talking about olelo ika olelo aloha, speaking in the language of love and compassion. Yeah. And then the following week, we'll have Tiara Lum doing both the program and the music and the crystal bowls at 9 o'clock before the service. So Tiara will be doing two things. And she'll be speaking about the power of love and joy as medicine for the soul. So it seems like we get two of those in a row. Yeah, really nice. I wanted to say before I go on, my experience with craniosacral, when I did my massage training, the teacher, yeah, of the massage school, I asked her to give me a massage. Like I thought, well, I'm going to pay the extra to have the best person giving me the massage. And she had just learned craniosacral. So where I thought I was going to get all this deep tissue work from my teacher, she just gently and like I felt my whole body like melt into place. I guess it's sort of what happens. But it was really, I was like, oh, that's cool. Not at all what I expected, but like really awesome, which I was imagining what happens a lot with sessions. So just wanted to kind of give that shout out. So here we also have weekly classes. Yeah, we've got the Tai Chi in Qigong with Jinang Wan every Monday evening, 4:30 to 5:30. It's kind of like learning dance. It takes you a couple of weeks to learn the steps, but once you do, your body remembers, which is kind of like I found that with the Gurdjieff. Like I did once Gurdjieff with you. And at first, it's like what? It's like you're in the mind of confusion, but then after a while, like the body sort of remembers. And I find Tai Chi Qigong the same way. End of the month. Today is our potluck on the lanai. So we'll be doing lunch here afterwards, and stay even if you didn't bring anything. If you like, it's a nice community time. As I mentioned, we have the crystal bowl meditations on the second Sunday of the month, and Tiara Lum will be doing that this next coming month. Also on June 8th, after the service, Tiara Lum is going to be doing a workshop connecting with your higher self and spirit guides through the Akashic records. Akashic records. Sounds exciting. So you're invited to submit prayer requests. We have a box over here. I think it's the one that has a turtle on it for written prayer requests. And those are totally kept confidential, and the prayer team prays over it. And I know a number of you can attest to the miracles that happens when you're being prayed for. We're also working on learning another verse of Hawaii Aloha. I guess that was our homework. I didn't do it. I must confess. Next week, Kumu is like hoping that we can sing a couple more verses of the song. He always goes on with the other verses, and we all are kind of humming along. So we're doing a little bit of after service practice if you'd like to join us for that. We also appreciate the volunteers. Like I said at the beginning of the service, it was all these bees just kind of creating the honey of the sweetness of the service. So if you'd like to volunteer, we do appreciate that. We have a sign up sheet and also the mailing list. You can get on the mailing list to receive our newsletter and so forth. Yeah, and then anything that you have upcoming. Yeah, of course.
I have also a mailing list where you can sign up if you want. Like I have now 2 student groups, and I will start the new basic course will not start till quite a while. But I can have 4 students at a time because I do it in my healing temple. And then I teach craniosacral. So if you're interested in that, write yourself on the mailing list because it's only a small group. And it's beautiful work, like Kai said. And I also have a Gurdjieff group every Monday, 4 till 6. So if you're interested in that, write yourself on the mailing list. And after there's my flowers. So if you're interested in one of the flowers, I will be behind the desk also. And you can buy them and you can ask me questions about the presentation. So Dan and I will just be standing there also, besides the potluck, of course. So any questions? Oh, and there are cards. So I also have cards there.
And it looks like Dan has 1 pyramid.
Oh yeah, and we sold most of the pyramids. Dan makes the most wonderful pyramids, but we have 4 left.
Oh, nice.
So if you want the pyramid, they are also for sale. Yeah, thank you. And the flowers I make all myself. So that's for me also. My flower company is called Keola, and it's the beautiful life force. So the breath of life is in all my flowers.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So let's gather in a circle. Yeah, the complete. We'll use our breath of light to make music sound. We got brand new words for our Hawaii Aloha sound. So that song. So that's kind of exciting. A brand new words. Thank you, Lynn, so much. Always a wonderful presence for that Hawaiian.
Hawaii Aloha.
And we got the new words. Yeah. If you like, yeah, we'll scoop. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we got a little splash. That happens sometimes. Oh, darn. Oh. So it looks like we want to bring the circle in a little bit so that broken bottle isn't in our circle. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That
are we
happens.
just doing one verse?
Yeah, we're just doing the one verse, and then I think after service, maybe before the meal, or I don't know how you want to do it. Pasha, are you leading this?
Just gather up in this area because you can see the extra verses. You can see if you're standing on this side.
Oh, they're on the bottom.
I'm hoping Lynn will help us.
Oh, nice. Wow, beautiful. Yeah, right. That's why I have mine on.
Oh, they're also there.
Yeah.
This is only the first verse.
On the right side or
Underneath.
There's two verses.
But this is
Well,
only the first verse.
So what Pasha is pointing out is we can see on the bottom of the first, which you guys see the first one over here, we actually have the other verses underneath. And just because oftentimes Hawaiian, for us Howleys, is a little bit like there's a learning of like, oh, how do I pronounce that? Which is like every vowel and every consonant we say that. Actually, you get a chance to kind of practice saying it with the music. Yeah, type of thing. So we'll do that after we do this one circle. We're gonna do just the one first verse now, and then afterwards, if people are mingling, whoever wants to learn the second and third verse can come over here on this side and see that below. Okay, Dan, you're on here. Yeah.
E Hawaii e kuo e hanawe kuo e kula iline ole noa ina potolani e Hawaii aloha e haoli na o pio Hawaii o mai na e ahe makani pau mai mau ke aloha no Hawaii e haoli na o pio Hawaii Oli, mai na e ahe makani e pau mai ne mau ke aloha no Hawaii mau ke aloha no Hawaii Hawaii aloha Hawaii You did so good. So
Perfect. Beautiful. Wonderful. Yeah.
Keola, I wanted to show you before we end the stream. This fellow Takuma is in Tokyo, and he gets up at 5 a.m. in the morning on Monday morning to unite with us in consciousness. And I wanted you to see what he wrote. It's so nice.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, very beautiful.
We wouldn't be, if we hadn't learned to live stream, we wouldn't know. We wouldn't have connected with him. Okay. All right. There you go.
Here we go.